Welcome back to Three Sisters in Wigan for round 3 of the Motors TV Ultimate Karting Challenge, the series where the championship leaders always start last at the back of the grid.
Now, if you're with us for the first 2 rounds, you'll already know that the 8 to 12-year-old cadets have served up some quality racing. But the reverse grid took its toll on a few of the championship favourites last month, including the championship leader, who was off on the very first lap, along with the second place, Luke Hughes. It was Abigail Gerry who showed the highest degree of determination to take the win last time, closely followed home by Jacob Hunston and Ryan Burns, with Ethan Patterson just missing out on that podium. However, it was a cool head of Liam Kelly, third at round 1, coming from P29 to 5th at round 2, who secured the championship lead and the highly valued number 1 plate for this third round.
In Minimax for the 11 to 16-year-olds, the highly anticipated battle between the winner at round 1, James Theodore, and the number 2 kart of Joe Bullen saw both drivers hit the podium 2nd and 3rd respectively from the back row of the grid. But neither driver could catch the fast-moving Roy Anderson, who came from P6 to grab the early lead, maintaining the advantage to the flag. In Junior Rotax, John Stewart, 2nd at round 1, came from the back row to secure the win with a truly superb demonstration of controlled driving. He was followed home by the championship leader from last on the grid, Nico Angelides, who holds on to the number 1 plate only by virtue of his better performance at round 1.
In TKM, the man they all have to beat already has a 5-point championship lead. James Duxbury is 25th to 3rd, putting down a real message to the other drivers at round 2 and consolidating his advantage. However, it was another Three Sisters specialist, Phil Smith, along with championship newcomer at round 2, Mark Hobson, filling the top 2 steps of the podium. Hobson still retains a very high grid position for round 3 by virtue of the fact he didn't compete in round 1, so is favourite to take the win this time. The real question for the others in this class though, how do they stop James Duxbury from running away with his championship? With the likes of Bell, Cordell, Lyle, Macaulay, Smith and Monks in the lineup, I suspect the story is far from over. Sam will be catching up with Mr Duxbury later on in the programme.
I will indeed. That's the championship news so far. This month we're featuring some of the girls in the series. Our first race today is the 11 to 16-year-olds in the Minimax class. This includes a young lady with high hopes for this weekend, having finished 4th at round 1. Josephine Ferrada is from Chester and visited Alan in the studio last week.
Josephine, 2 rounds of the Motors TV Ultimate Karting Challenge have gone so far. Fantastic round for you at round 1. You finished 4th, but you did have a puncture for most of that race, and you were 3rd going into that last lap. Were you disappointed not to have finished on the podium?
Yeah, I was quite disappointed. I thought I had it on the last lap, but then on the last corner in Luna, there was no chance of me getting through that clearly with the puncture I had. That's where I lost most of the speed with that tyre, and down the straight he would have slipstreamed me anyway. I tried defending, but it wouldn't have brought anything down the straight.
Okay, and then at round 2, of course, disaster for you just across the start-finish line. We thought that we were going to see a bit of a girl fight there. Yourself and Sinead Gress getting together after the line, and you off before turn 1. What happened there?
Well, Bull came and hit me up the back, and then Gibson, they all sandwiched me together, and that made me go over the top of Sinead. I hit Sinead's shoulder, but she was alright in the end, and that's made me spin off. But then I was just chasing throughout the race.
That means, of course, as you've had the off, you didn't score a lot of points. That will move you up the grid as a result. So what can we look forward to from Josephine Ferrada for round 3?
Well, I really clearly want to win, and as I saw with Roy in the last one, he was right at the back from the one before, and then he won that. So if James Theodore and all those stay at the back long enough, I got a chance.
I'm not sure Josephine will get a wish there. Cameron Somerville making his first appearance in the championship on pole, then comes Ross Anderson. Jamie Fegan on 3, Tom Durbridge on the P4. On 5 is the happy smiley face of Joe Hilling, then Matt Cresswell on 6. Ryan Langley on 7 for Focal Point. Stephen Batho, a winner in April at Glanigorse Park. Matt Isherwood on 9, then comes Nick Barnes. Jack Vanderpump is on 11. There is Josephine Ferrada, she's starting P12. Roy Anderson, last month's winner, on 13. Roy Gill on 14. Then comes Sinead Gress and Joe Charlton on 16. Matt Gibson, 3rd in the championship on 17. Then Joe Bullen, and the championship leader is James Theodore. Ben's made his way trackside. He's got some information on conditions, Ben.
Just a word on the track conditions here. Everyone out on slick tyres, and also the circuit is dry, but there is rain in the air. There's a few spits and spots as the grid forms ready for this Minimax race, and so weather is going to play a huge important part in today's proceedings.
Thanks for that, Ben. We're on board with Sinead Gress in set with Joe Bullen, who runs into the back of Ryan Longley. Cresswell's run wide through turn 1. Longley's off. through turn 1, running wide is the poleman as well. That's Cameron Somerville making his first appearance in the championship. There he is, kart 24, just coming back on the track. He's sponsored by SAS International. And I don't mean the regiment, it's the courier company. Theodore having a look up the inside of Anderson through Dunlop. That's Cresswell 15, bit of contact with Durbridge there. Cresswell looking racy, Durbridge 18, 21 behind him is Ross Anderson, started on the front row, but he slipped back a few places. Back on board with Sinead Gress down to Luna Bend. 6 is Roy Gill in front, black flag coming out for Joe Bullen, second in the championship. I think Ben can tell us why.
A really messy start from the Minimax field, and the reason being Joe Bullen playing bumper cars into the first corner, and he duly has received the black flag for that, so he's really bust his chances in the championship now.
Yeah, it's the worst possible news for Bullen as they come into Dunlop. Oh, there's contact here. Oh, carnage coming through Dunlop. Oh, carts running into the back of each other. Cresswell and Durbridge got together originally. Then Anderson caught out, I think, just clipped the back wheel of Durbridge's cart. That's Anderson trying to pull his cart out of the soft stuff there, should we say that. Here's the replay. You see the contact between Cresswell and Durbridge on the outside. That's caused the problem. Anderson's just clipped Durbridge's cart. Batho's been turned round. Vanderpump straightened him up. Charlton into the back of Vanderpump, and Gill's done a 180 as well. So all sorts of stuff going on there. The upshot of which is that James Theodore, the championship leader, is through to second place from 9th. He made up 7 places, missed it all entirely. Back on board with Sinead Gress, who's following in the tracks of Josephine Ferrada. Josephine will be happy. She was impeded but wasn't taken out. The carts flash through turn 2. It's Fegan leading from Theodore, closely followed by Anderson, last month's winner. Then comes Isherwood, and following Isherwood is Josephine Ferrada in 5th place. That's Roy Anderson, winner last month. See Ryan Longley on the back of that little group there, 14. He's got going again after the incident through turn 1. Gap between Fegan in first, Theodore in second, 1.52 seconds. Expect that to close sometime soon. The 24 kart is Cameron Somerville, the man who started on pole, the SAS International kart of Somerville. As we see Theodore right on the back of Fegan now, look up the inside going into turn 1. Comfortably makes that pass, does he? Well, only just about, in fact, by the end of the straight. But it's Theodore, the championship leader, through from 19th to first place. One young man who won't be coming first today is Jack Vanderpump, and Ben can tell us why.
Unfortunately for Jack Vanderpump, he's had to retire from the race. He's been involved in a big accident, and his rear bumper is bent up, as well as his side pod, and in the eyes of Ian Blair, the clerk of the course, that is not safe.
Matthew Gibson puts in the fastest lap, 42.835. Theodore look up the inside at the left-hander, that's his favourite spot. Past Fegan, Theodore back into the lead. Down to the left-hander at Luna one more time. Anderson gets much closer as the overtaking between Fegan and Theodore hots up. Obviously Fegan overtook Theodore out of shot. Theodore's heading back through the left-hander and retains the lead as they come out onto the straight. Looks like Ferrada getting closer as well. Fegan trying to go down the outside of Theodore. I don't think he's going to make that work, is he? No. It allows Anderson to have a sniff up the inside it through turn 1 though. Can't quite make the move stick as they come down to Dunlop. Fegan looks up the inside of the championship leader, nothing more at this stage. Anderson right on the back of Fegan. Ferrada looks racy as well. We saw Josephine interviewed earlier. She was looking for a win in this one. Don't think that's going to happen now unless something happens between the 3 out front. And here's Josephine Ferrada, kart number 9. James Theodore, kart 1, championship leader. Had a good run at the recent British Open Championships. And as they come through Luna Bend, it looks like it's starting to rain. It is. Fegan's run wide and allowed Anderson through to second. Oh, it's a mechanical flag for Matt Gibson. Ben's got some information.
This race is turning out into a real war of attrition. Number 3, Matthew Gibson, having to retire from the race because he has lost his chain guard, and again, not safe in the eyes of Ian Blair.
Well, absolutely gutting for Matthew Gibson, third in the championship as Theodore runs wide out to the hairpin. Ben's got more news.
Josephine Ferrada being caught out by the wet surface as the rain comes down, and Roy Anderson off as well. It is absolutely tipping it down, and they're all on slicks, and it's getting very, very slippery out here. Josephine Ferrada off, Roy Anderson off, but they're both still going now.
Yeah, Tom Durbridge off as well, Ben, in the hairpin. Same hairpin as Ferrada turned round. He's getting a push by the pusher to get going. Oh, I do miss pushing. That is very stinky down there in that hairpin, I can tell you. Very, very soft, the grass on the outside, as Jamie Fegan, kart 20, in second place. Gets done up the inside by Anderson, but has Anderson back on a switchback move. Right-hander at the end of paddock. He gets done again. Gap between Theodore and Fegan, 2.8 is probably more now. And as they come through the left-hander out onto Rogerson's, that's Matt Isherwood, car 12. He's looking racy now. Matt Isherwood from Bryn Hufford School and Clanferris. Bryn Hufford School winners of the D-Side Model Raceway Slot Car Challenge in the year 2000. I happen to know that because I owned the track at the time. Isherwood's up the inside of Fegan for that third place. It's still raining, but not as bad as it was. Kart 6 is Roy Gill still running. Isherwood holds on to third place, that's the final podium spot, and if Fegan doesn't get a podium today, it will be less than he deserves, quite frankly. It's been a good performance by Jamie Fegan. None better today, though, than the performance by that man, the one kart, the championship leader, James Theodore. 19th to first. Cameron Somerville still leading the four-carter Joe Charlton. This is for position on the last lap. Josephine Ferrada, we saw earlier, the 9 kart, just following Sinead Gress, gives her a nudge out the way. She better hope the clerk of the course hasn't seen that, the mood he's in today. Likely to dish out a penalty. Well, James Theodore's nickname is the 6-shooter, and here's why. Cocks it, shoots it, blows it. Oh, and he holsters it for a special bonus point. Nice celebration there. Got that all wrong last time he tried that at the Dragon Masters at Granny-Gorse Park. He blew it, then shot it. That was a very poor performance in the celebration that day and cost him a championship point. Quick handshake between Theodore and Anderson. Well, it would be if they could drive. They're right when they're driving fast. They can't drive slowly, obviously. Theodore takes the win. Anderson is second, and Matt Isherwood a great drive for his first podium of the season. Fegan deserved better, frankly, than fourth. Ferrada, nice drive back through the field after spinning off earlier on. Sinead Gress's 6th place will move her up into a tie on points with Roy Anderson. She's followed in by Batho, Hilling, Longley and Somerville, and the fastest lap by Matt Gibson was scant reward after his DNF for mechanical failure.
It started raining, it made the track very slippy. I didn't want any of us to come together, that had damaged me. I tried to keep the power smooth out of the corners, tried to take the corners as smooth as I could. Didn't want to come off, obviously, and I just kept going till the finish.
Quick look at the championship standings then. Theodore has a 16-point lead now over Anderson and Gress, second and third. Then comes Bull on 82, Charlton on 80, and Josephine Ferrada back into the top 6 on 75 points.
Well, a great way to kick off round 3 here, and James Theodore showing just what this championship's all about, coming from last all the way up to first. Next up is the 8 to 12-year-olds in the cadet class. Join us then.